Hey nerds, Tyler here to remind you to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 30 and Nerdy Pod. That's 30 and Nerdy Pod on Twitter and Instagram. We also have a YouTube channel, 30 and Nerdy Podcast. Our website is 30andnerdypodcast.com. Now that's 30 and nerdypodcast.com. Send any questions and suggestions to 30andnerdypod at gmail.com. Now remember, all those are 30. Enjoy the show. What's up, guys? Welcome to the podcast where everyone knows your name.
Cheers to
ya.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Tyler, and we are 30 and Nerdy.
Can I just say again, I'm sure I've talked about it before, but our music is so cool.
It really is.
It just gets me pumped every time I hear it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Kyle. Love you for that. Oh, yeah.
Yes, another big thank you to Kyle for doing that for us. So, in this episode, this is part 2 of our Endgame.
What were you saying?
There it is.
Avengers? You
Avengers.
said?
I did. Avengers Endgame.
You have my attention.
Okay. Now I have your attention. So, we started to get out of time last week, and we were surprised by a phone call from our friend Logan, and we got to talk to him a little bit about it. So we just decided to do a part 2.
He's your friend, maybe. I don't know. Just kidding.
Oh, typical heel Josh.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided we'd do a part 2, and here we are.
That's right.
Yeah.
And before we get into that discussion, we should just remind everybody that we have a big thing coming up in a couple weeks.
It is. It's coming soon.
It's coming soon. We
right?
are psyched. I'm so jazzed about it. We are going to be at the Marble City Comic-Con in Knoxville, June 1st and 2nd, doing a live podcast of some sort, of some fashion. I don't know, but we're going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you should definitely check out our broadcast for that day. And if even better, you can come join us at the Comic-Con. That'd be cool too.
Yeah.
And check out their website, which we will post a link for on our Facebook page.
Absolutely, we will. And I'm very excited about that opportunity to possibly interview some of the stars.
Mm.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. So, it's been a week. We're in part 2 of our Endgame breakdown. How you been? You been good?
Man, I've been great. I've been tired because it's May and I'm a teacher.
Yeah. Winding down.
End of school is exhausting. There's so much to do, and we have to pack up our classrooms and everything, and the kids are so ready for summer. So, they're interesting at this time of the year.
I don't think they realize, though, I don't think the students realize that the teachers are just as ready.
Oh, man, we
for
need
summer.
it. We need it. People sometimes kind of, say not so nice things about teachers having summer breaks and all that. It's like, oh, you get a whole summer off and all that. It's like, man, I hang out with 13-year-olds all day long for
after you've given them sugar.
180 days. Don't get me wrong, I love them, I do, but they wear me out.
Especially
it's
at
tough.
this time of year. I remember when I taught at Meadowview with you, you had to line up everything out in the hallway, and they got to wax and buff the floors in the summer, and you've got all this lifting to do.
And then, we start this on the last day of school, right? And so we still have the kids on that day. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a relaxed, fun day or whatever, but you take all the chairs and the desks and the tables out of the room, and it's just this big, wide open room. And, man, they go nuts. I tell them they're like monkeys escape from the zoo all the time.
There's so much room for activities.
Too much room for activities. But speaking of activities, something I do want to share with everybody. We have the best art teacher in the entire world at my school. Her name's Miss Stacy. She does this cool thing. We have these little ceiling tiles. They're like perfect squares all throughout our building. She lets the students take them down, and they choose some sort of design, something they're interested in or whatever, or something that a teacher's interested in. And they paint the ceiling tiles like logos or pictures or book covers or whatever. And they're awesome. They do such a good job on these. So obviously, the kids know me. They know who I am. Part of my entire identity is my superhero, obsession.
Well, there's Spider-Man all over your classroom.
Yeah, you should see my classroom. One day we'll share pictures of that too. But so the kids do ceiling tiles of superhero logos or things like that for me. I got the coolest ceiling tiles. I got one, it was like Miles Morales Spider-Man from Into the Spider-Verse. It had like a yellow background and him on the front swinging. Yeah. That was so cool. I got some big just Spider-Man head, pictures. My favorite thing that I've gotten, it was 2 ceiling tiles that you put together and it made the Infinity Gauntlet. Oh, like the top part was the fist and, most of the stones. And then the second part was, the part around his wrist. Yeah. It's so cool. So we'll post pictures so you guys can see the cool ceiling tiles that my kids did for me. So I think everybody will be very interested in that.
That is cool. Absolutely. Those will be
cool to see.
I always enjoyed Miss Stacy and all the things she did with the students. And so, just to recap a little bit about last week.
Hold up there, young camper. What, you have not talked about your lovely self there?
I don't like to talk about myself. I did.
Lies.
I did do something cool. I know you all can't see it, but maybe I'll post a picture on our page. I got my beard shaved off into the Tony Stark goatee. I did it for Tony. Or Robert Downey Jr. I don't know who I did it for, but I got my beard shaved into the goatee. Yeah. And it was in my haircut some. But it was something I wanted to do. I went to my stylist who does my hair, because I don't just get a normal haircut. I mean, you've got to take care of this.
Good Lord.
It's fantastic hair. I have a stylist, and I said, I want to do something with my beard. I want to change it up. I want to get out of this monotony. So, give me the Tony Stark. Who's Tony Stark? Iron Man. Is that like Batman? No, that's a... So I had to pull up a picture of Tony Stark. She said, "Oh, the cartoon." I said, "Give me more like Robert Downey Jr.'s." "Oh, I know Robert Downey Jr." And I was like, "Oh, of course you do." But
then how does she not know Iron Man? That's ridiculous.
Tony Stark and Iron Man to her, because she doesn't do the comic stuff. But I like it.
You pulled it off.
Thank you.
You did. You pulled it off.
Thank you very much.
So proud.
Thank you. I'm very happy with it, and I may have even got the Just for Men beard stuff and darkened it some because there was some gray.
And you just admitted that
I did. I'm not afraid to admit that
for people to hear,
because it needed to be darkened because I actually had some red and a little gray, but definitely red in the beard. And I'm telling you, man, I feel 30 tonight because we had our first choreography rehearsal. Oh, you do.
I don't, because I'm not actually 30.
We had our first choreography rehearsal tonight for the show, Mamma Mia, and I feel 30.
Oh, nice. This is why I don't do that stuff anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm almost 30.
So listen, guys. We told you in the last cast, and we'll tell you again, there are spoilers ahead. Mm-hmm.
You heard it right there.
You heard it.
Do you know what that means?
That means we're getting into the end game. Again, now let's recap a little bit. Last week we talked about our funniest moments. We talked, Logan liked the rat hitting the button that brought Ant-Man back into our world. And
rats can be heroes too.
They can, especially if you're a Ninja Turtle fan.
Maybe they'll make that rat one of the Avengers. Wouldn't you say? That's a great idea.
Great idea. You're just looking for an excuse to push the button.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So
it wasn't me. It's just when you say the Avengers, it's like magic, and it just happens, and you hear it, and it gets you excited about the Avengers.
Okay. I guess so. And I love Fat Thor looking like, the dude from The Big Lebowski. Mm-hmm. And what was your funny moment?
Well, I talked about Rocket saying to Fat Thor, "You look like melted ice cream." I was like, I guess so. I never thought about it that way before. But yeah, he does.
Especially when he's sitting there with Korg and he's got the bowl resting on his gut.
He's got like Doritos stuck in his mangled beard, and he's like, Thor looks like a man. Yeah.
In all honesty, like, when Thor 1 came out, everyone was like, man, I want a body like Thor. And during Endgame, I'm sitting there in the theater like, I have a body like Thor.
Yeah.
So now I've attained.
It's like, I don't know what the internet is saying about Fat Thor. It seems like most people really liked it.
Yeah, but he loved it.
But Chris Hemsworth?
Yeah, he loved it.
Well, he did a good job.
Yeah.
It was probably a lot of fun. But I don't know if anyone has criticized it or not. But speaking of Logan, we got to stop talking about Logan. Okay, he's not that much of a worthy topic here. I'm just kidding. I love it.
Somewhere.
But he was like, "Oh, I hated that they did Fat Thor, and it was just too much. They made jokes about it too much, dude.
Too much comedy.
Are you kidding me? All these movies have to have comedy like that. They've got to have those elements.
Yeah.
None of them has not had that.
No.
Okay, and who else is it gonna be other than Rocket?
No, I think he could pull it off.
Okay,
they knew that
it was probably pretty unexpected for most people, right?
But at the same time, I also think that it was huge for his character because it showed his dive into depression, basically.
Right. Because he put the consequences of the snap on himself shoulders, because he didn't go for the head, just like Thanos said. He should have gone for the head. And I failed, and half of the universe is dead because of me. And this shows, like, what it did to him. Yeah. It made sense. So I don't...
it did.
And yes, they made a lot of jokes about it, but if you think about it this way, how many times throughout the rest of the movies has there been references to how good he looks?
Yeah.
It's been a joke in most of the movies.
Like especially in Infinity War at the beginning, it's like, this is not a dude. Drax says, "Oh yeah, you're a dude."
The thing with
this is like an
Thor
angel
and Star-Lord.
And a space pirate made a child.
Yeah, right.
Muscles
exactly.
Muscles.
And granted, it's spread out across several movies rather than all in one. But if you think about the amount of time they spent referencing it, it probably evens out.
Yeah, it evens out. Absolutely.
So
I agree with that.
I thought it was great.
I completely agree with that. And we also talked about visuals, like the best visuals of the film. And, we talked about that final battle.
I think the unanimous choice for that best visual moment is when Cap is standing there and he hears Falcon in his ear on the left.
Which is paying homage to...
all the times that he said that to... Yeah,
on your left. On your left.
And in Civil War as well.
Yeah.
So, what was I trying to say? You made me forget.
I'm so sorry. It's not hard in your old age, is it?
Well, at least I'm not 30 yet, so...
But
the visual of when, Cap is standing there and you hear Falcon and the portals start to open up and you see all of the heroes, all of the armies from the Infinity War and Wakanda and everything, and all the heroes that we'd lost. We see Black Panther walk through first and all his people and everything, and it was awesome. And then you see all the heroes standing behind Captain America, ready to go to war. It was awesome.
Oh, it was
such a cool moment.
Give you chills. I mean,
yes.
It and hidden in there's Howard the Duck, by the way,
which I did not know.
Now we're gonna have to go back and watch it again just to find Howard.
I'm dying to see it again. I'm telling you.
But it was a beautiful picture. So after that recap, let's talk about favorite moments.
Oh man. So many moments to choose from. I really enjoyed the more sentimental moments the most, I think. Like, I loved all the stuff with Tony when he and Cap went back to, like, what, the 60s, 70s? I can't remember when it was. Yeah. They went to the S.H.I.E.L.D., base, and Hank Pym is there, and Howard Stark is there, and Peggy's there as well. But the moments with Tony and his dad, they run into each other, and they end up, striking up conversation and sort of becoming friends on that day. And you learn, Howard tells Tony, oh, my wife is expecting, and he's headed home to celebrate with his wife, and the baby she's expecting is Tony, who's standing right there talking to him.
And it kind of plays back to that. Remember at the beginning of Civil War when Tony's
young Tony
visually reenacting, the last time he saw his parents, and he said, if I had my way, if I could change it, I'd tell him I love him. I'd hugged him. I would have hugged him.
And he did all that.
Told him that I understood.
Yeah.
And he got to do it. They gave him that moment that he wished he could have had. And it was beautiful. It really was a great moment. And Cap seeing Peggy was...
Yeah. That was great. It just didn't hit me as much as the Tony and Howard thing. Absolutely. That was just because, there was dialogue there. The Cap thing was just him looking at her. Mm-hmm. So it felt a little different, but it was still a cool moment. And still, on the topic of Tony, his final moments after he, snaps the gauntlet to destroy Thanos and his army, it's, the consequence of this is he couldn't withstand the power of the gauntlet, and it's killed him. Yeah. And, you see him, you can tell he's about dead, but he doesn't say anything.
He just looks.
And he has that moment with Pepper, and Pepper's Spider-Man as well. And
it's almost like he's waiting for Pepper to say,
it's okay. We're going to be okay. Everything's good. And he knows that, and he realizes that when he hears Pepper say it, that's all he needs to just let go.
Yeah. And that's heartbreaking, man. Like, I don't want to tear up, but that was a shock to us. Because, we all kind of knew that this was this was Captain America's last film.
Right. But so everyone expected that.
Everyone expected somehow
that Cap's he would have it would be the end of his story, one way or the other, and he didn't die, which is great. Yeah. We lost Tony, which most people weren't expecting.
Especially, but the way he did it.
Yeah.
And there's, if you go back into some of the movies, like even the first Avengers movie, where Cap actually says something to him about what if it comes down to a wire, who are you? And he goes, I think I just cut the wire. Like, basically saying, like, I'll jump on the sword if I absolutely
Well, he's the one that flew the nuke into the portal,
Yeah.
At the end of Avengers.
Mind reminding him, does everybody remember when I flew it?
And it seemed like, what I love about him is that he's sort of if you look at just the personalities of all the characters, he's the one you'd least expect to put him, to sacrifice himself to save anyone, but he never hesitates.
Cap would do that.
Right.
We thought Cap would. What if he has to sacrifice himself with the gauntlet? Right. We thought Cap would be the one to put the gauntlet on and kill himself.
Yeah.
So, and there's really that. It's just a beautiful moment because you have Rhodey saying bye.
Yeah.
You have Peter saying bye, and then you have Pepper saying bye.
Right.
And what we've learned in this film is that he actually has a daughter now,
Morgan,
and it's this.
And well, he said early on, I guess he was talking to, it was either Captain America or Hulk, and he said, I want to bring back what we lost,
but keep what I have.
What
I found.
That's right.
Because Pepper says to him, we have a second chance.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people got that. And he is giving away his second chance.
For everyone else. That's a true hero. And so even though I was so sad to see Iron Man end, I'm thrilled about his story in its entirety. It was perfect. He died a true hero. What more could you ask?
Right.
It was the
most self-sacrifice.
Exactly.
That was just he really did it. And Thanos said to him in Infinity War before we thought he was about to die. He said, "I really hope they remember you." And now they will.
Will they ever?
Will they ever? I mean, it was just a beautiful moment, and it's kind of sad, but it was probably my favorite moment.
So now that all this stage of the Marvel Universe has come to an end, and the chapter has not the chapter, but the book, I guess it's ended. We've closed.
Infinity Story.
We've closed that page on this part of the story. How does it feel now that it's all over? That we know the whole story?
I mean, I don't know a word.
Aren't you satisfied? I'm
very satisfied. I mean, they told and finished. They started a story and finished it so beautifully, with amazing casting and characters and performances, and there wasn't really a moment where you didn't feel something hit. I know a lot of people, for some reason, rag on Age of Ultron as a movie. I don't understand why.
There's not a single movie in the MCU that I have left saying, "Oh, I really didn't like that."
No.
Not one.
There isn't.
And I was never a Captain America fan. Mm-hmm. And I'm really still not. I appreciate Captain America, but he's not one of my favorites by any means. But you know what? I loved those movies.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
I was never a fan of Thor.
No?
I love Thor, and I love those movies, I
mean,
they made me love Thor.
Yeah.
Who cared anything about the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh, the comics were
and
awful.
Now they're that's
Nobody
like
really read them.
Right. They're one of the number one favorites in the whole thing. I mean,
there are still people who say, if not these films, Guardians 1 was the best MCU film.
Right.
I mean, the album alone, the classic rock they put in it, the stories, the casting they did was perfect. Because
Disney knows.
Oh, God.
Disney knows that the details matter, and nobody does it like Disney. Everybody, all hail the mouse.
Listen, I don't know how much Mickey's paying you to talk about.
Mickey pays me nothing. No, you know what? Mickey pays me in happiness. Happiness.
Is that what they call
and happiness, my friend, happiness is priceless.
Ah, God, we'll get to Disney some other time, but...
So we feel good about the ending of the story. We had years and years of character development and evolutions of characters. We had the ultimate villain in Thanos. We had shocks. We had heartbreak. We had everything. And we had picture perfect endings for characters Iron Man, Captain America. He got the life he always wanted, even after so many years of service. Defending the innocent.
Absolutely.
And 60, 70 years, however long it was in the ice, he got to go back and live a normal life with his dream girl. Oh, it was perfect.
Yeah, and, a couple of things about that is, he had to go back in time because after it was all done, after they beat Thanos, he had to then go back to all the places where they got each stone and return them to their rightful place, or else he would have caused all these paradoxes.
Mm.
And one question I had about that is, he had to go to Vormir and return the Soul Stone.
There's a story there for sure.
I would have loved to have seen, though, that moment of, it's the Red Skull. Oh, Captain.
Yeah.
I would have loved
to see I don't think that because he's not really Red Skull anymore.
He's the embodiment.
So I don't think that he would have
I think he's
reacted
the
that way.
Of Red Skull, because the Red Skull was the last person to, he got blasted there by the Tesseract.
Yeah.
And, but it really was a cool moment. And speaking of Vormir, we lost Black Widow too.
Yes.
And that's still a death that sticks with me because it just was so sudden. She
said she had nothing except for that team. That team was her family.
Oh.
That's all she had. Hawkeye had to make it out. We had to see a happy ending for him, because you start the movie seeing his family disappear, and you're not going to resolve that by the end. Yeah. Come on, he has to make it. It had to be Black Widow, and she, like Tony, She made the ultimate sacrifice. She died a hero's death.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well,
Close the book.
It really plays on that, years and years and years ago, you hear her talk about, well, Barton was sent to kill me.
Yeah.
By S.H.I.E.L.D. And he saw something. I don't know what he saw. I don't know why he saved me. But one day I want to find out why he saved me. And it turns out, him letting her live all those years ago gave her the chance to save his family.
Right.
To help bring his family back. So...
Perfect.
It was beautiful, but it still felt really sucky. I want to know why the heck Nebula didn't tell him. Hey, by the way, since you two are going to Vormir, one of you's going to have to die. She knew.
Did she know?
She knew, because remember in Infinity War she said, he went to Vormir with Gamora.
Well, I don't think that means that...
Came back with the Soul Stone. I think Nebula knew.
Well, I don't know. That's a good question.
Jerk move. Or do you think she did it because, like...
What choice did they have? What choice did they have?
If I say something, they might not do it.
But they would, though. They're heroes, man. And both of them fought to do it.
They did. And,
so...
God, I get sad thinking about that because it's too big.
It would have made things a lot harder if they knew going into it. And then there would have been this big disagreement within the entire group. Who's going to do it? No, I want to do it. I want to be the one to do it. Let me do it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why.
Ooh.
And the fact that what does it matter anyway? It's got to be done. They have to do it. So
yeah, I mean it does. And performance-wise, I know we talked about superhero movies not getting a lot of Oscar cred, but RDJ, man, in this film, Infinity War 2, I mean, I'm not going against his other previous movies, his acting ability, but there's something about this. Like
Stan Lee even said, I heard him say it out of his own mouth with my own ears live at a convention. He said, Robert Downey Jr. was born to play Tony Stark. And he said he is perfect. He is exactly what I pictured when I... designed this character, created this character, and that was his
even
right.
Of.
That was his favorite, actor.
Yeah.
In all these movies.
I mean,
and you told me an interesting fact that I had not heard. After Endgame, Robert Downey Jr. has now surpassed Hugh Jackman's record for having the most appearances as a single character throughout several movies.
Hugh Jackman held the record for Wolverine.
Right.
And Endgame helped RDJ surpass that.
Man, Disney breaking another record for you. Disney and the Avengers.
Okay. So, is it... Okay, never mind. We'll get into the mouse later.
You're trying so hard, but we got things to talk about.
Gosh.
I'm just kind of teasing you with it.
Buttons, no pun intended.
There's no button. I'm telling you, when you say the name of the people, the music just plays.
Earth's Mightiest
So if you don't want to hear it, don't say it.
Yeah, okay.
So what's next for Marvel? I don't know that they can ever top this. They might. You never know.
Well, we know that Far From Home's their first Phase 4 movie.
I read somewhere that they're not counting it as Phase 4. They're just counting it as like...
An intermediate?
Something like that, yeah. It's not the true beginning of Phase 4. But they may change their minds about that. And what I read could have been totally wrong anyway, so I don't know. But,
we know it's after Endgame. I mean, and if you haven't seen Endgame... If you haven't seen Endgame, but you saw the Far From Home trailer, you're probably like, why is he sad about Iron Man?
Well, and if you haven't seen Endgame, you shouldn't be listening to this conversation.
Like, why is Iron Man on a wall? Why is he crying with happy? Whoa. But it looks good. We get to finally see Mysterio. And I'm not a huge fan of Gyllenhaal. I've never really been a fan of his. I mean, he's got a couple of good performances under his belt. But he looks good. He looks gruff and he's now in the MCU, so I'm going to be excited. But I think, in all honesty, I think you either go you could go the Kang route, Kang the Conqueror, who is always kind of keeping an eye on the timeline and stuff, and maybe possibly some of this stuff with the past two films
that would make
screwed
sense.
up the timeline.
That would make sense.
And pissed him off enough
to
go, no, you guys have messed it up, and now I'm going to have to reprimand you all.
And I really want to see Galactus, because I
don't think you go with Galactus until you've introduced the Fantastic Four.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but if you think of it in terms of it took 22 movies to complete the Thanos as the villain story.
Okay.
Start a Galactus story arc
leading
now.
Towards Galactus. Right. So Kang's not even a main villain. He's
maybe
like
not.
a Loki from Avengers 1.
Maybe.
Maybe the next Avengers film is like Kang, and then he says something about, oh, you think I'm bad.
Mm-hmm.
There's a power out there. And I think it was our dear friend that you don't want to talk too much about, who said the gauntlet was snapped 3 times on Earth. He's like, that kind of power would get Galactus's attention.
Yeah.
That kind of just raw energy would almost make him like, what's going on there? Ooh.
I think there has to be some sort of repercussion from all the snaps.
Like mutants.
Yeah.
Possibly.
But hey, man, that's been a great talk, and I think we can probably wrap up our thoughts on the movie now. But after we take a short break, we are going to answer a few questions about the movie and hear your thoughts and the things you want to know. And we'll have another little chat about the Avengers. So, I'm sorry, I had to do it just one last time.
So, yeah.
You said, this will never get old.
I
think you regret that now.
I did say that. So, we'll be back after a word from our sponsor. Hey guys, it's Tyler from 30 and Nerdy, and I just wanted to take a second to talk to you about my friend Zach. He owns the business Advertising Expressions here in Morristown, Tennessee. It's at 2103 Morningside Drive. Now, this guy can create almost anything on almost anything. I mean, he has shirts, hats, Yetis, Tervises, mugs, badges, pants, bags. I mean, if you can customize it, he'll do it for you. And he's a fantastic guy, and he does all of our wear. And I just want to tell you about him. And next time you're in, if you need something done for a company, for a church, anything like that, please give Zach a call at 423-586-3270. Again, that's 423-586-3270. And tell him 30 and Nerdy sent you, and he'll get you taken care of. Meanwhile, back at 30 and Nerdy. Good.
What? I'm just excited to continue our discussion on Endgame.
What are you going to do when we move to the next episode and that's not our...
Well, nothing's going to be as good as that, so this will be it. But we are back. And for this part of the show, we have a few questions that were submitted from some of you guys, and we're going to take a second to answer them real quick. So thank you for submitting these questions. We got them on Instagram, email, and Twitter and all that good stuff. So thanks for that. All right, first up, Jacob North wants to know, why did Cap choose Sam, Falcon, over Bucky, Winter Soldier, to take up the mantle, like the mantle is Captain America? And also, do we feel that there is future significance for Harley from Iron Man 3 being at Tony Stark's funeral? All right, so first part. Why did Cap choose Falcon?
Well, I think that, honestly, the past that Bucky had, it's never going away.
Right.
And he's always going to battle that. And Captain America mantle cannot have that. And Sam was the more pure choice, I believe. I
100% agree with that. And Bucky can be too easily compromised. Yes. That could be devastating for us. And Sam has kind of been Cap's sidekick for a few years now. He's learned from him, and he's they share the same values and the same personality traits, and everything. So I think he's just the better choice, and Winter Soldier is just going to be Winter Soldier for now, and that's okay. As for Harley from Iron Man 3, Harley was the kid that lived in Tennessee. Tony somehow ended up there, and they sort of became buddies. He showed up at Tony's funeral at the end of Endgame. So is there significance to that?
I would love to see Iron Lad. If Tony's gone and Tony's done and RDJ is done, I would still like to see the character-esque of Iron Man. I would love to see Harley become Iron Lad.
I would not, actually. I guess if it happened, it'd be cool, and I'm sure I'd enjoy it, but I kind of want the Iron Man story to be done. I think that we've wrapped it up with a nice little bow. It felt like closing a good long book, like we said earlier, and I think that should be it for any Stark anything.
Well, we still have War Machine.
Yeah. However, I did read today, so I guess I'm sorry, my answer would be no. I don't think there's a lot of significance to it. I think that they were just friends. Maybe they kept in touch a little bit.
Yeah.
But I did read somewhere that the young man who plays Harley actually signed a 3-movie deal, and this makes 2. So maybe. But again, this is the internet we're talking about. You never know. So.
Yeah, but Abe Lincoln said everything on the internet's true.
Oh, well, then I guess it's true. All right, so thank you for that. Next, Matt Carr, the best roommate I ever had. Love you, Matty. Matt Carr wants to know if we felt there were any plot holes in Endgame, or did this film create a plot hole on any previous MCU film? Oh boy, you would ask me a time travel question. This gets a little muddy. I don't think there were any plot holes, and if there were a few plot holes, I think any of it was intentional because they want to continue to release, appendices of the story, little extra side portions on their streaming service. Yeah. So the thing with Loki, I'm sure we'll see on a show.
Which they just announced today. The Russos guaranteed that he was alive and well. Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. I don't think there were... The only plot hole isn't really a plot hole for me. It's more of an unanswered story. Like I said earlier, I would love to have seen the run-in with Cap taking the stone back to Vormir and seeing Red Skull.
That's just one of those things you probably are
leave it up to your imagination.
Exactly. Yeah. And sometimes that's better.
It is.
But it would be cool to see, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have been cool. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, thanks. All right. Oh, good Lord. Logan Roach wants to know what the time heist mess up could mean for Loki moving forward. Well, we just answered that. It wasn't a mess up. Disney doesn't do anything by accident.
I think he's talking about when they screwed up the time heist. Them messing up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just so used to Logan criticizing and hating on everything that I automatically went into defense mode.
You did.
The time heist mess up. So when Loki got the stone and disappeared. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. He also wants to, this is just what my life is like. I'm sorry. He wants to know.
Constantly berating.
Well, here it is. He wants to know why the Russos hate the Hulk. They don't. The Hulk had a great story.
Okay, we had this debate with him.
He had a great story. He had great, awesome moments in Endgame. Yeah. And I'm sorry, we've already had 5 or 6 movies of Hulk smash. Yeah. And then when he changed a little bit in Ragnarok, everybody loved that. When he started talking a little bit. And Bruce Banner explained to us, I have learned there was this whole conflict in Infinity War where Hulk wouldn't come out because he was sort of, at odds with Bruce Banner. He didn't like how he was just like, trying to call him up just when he needed him. He didn't like that. So he and Bruce are starting to work together, and they're taking the best parts of themselves, the brain and the bronze, and there's a happy medium.
I spent 5 years in a gamma lab to perfect it.
So it's like something new for the character, something I wasn't expecting.
No, they brought in Professor
But I was
Hulk.
happy. But if the characters don't change, if they don't evolve, you're going to lose interest.
Yeah.
And Hulk, especially early on, he's, like we said, Hulk smash. Yeah. That's it. So
we even got to see a little bit of that character change in Cap, because remember in Age of Ultron where he said language?
Yeah.
And then in this movie he said, let's go kill that son of a bitch.
Yep.
But I think Hulk was not screwed over. They love the Hulk. I think they gave him that arc in this movie that started in Infinity War because they loved the character. Yeah. And they knew that it needed something and that Ruffalo could do it.
I'm sorry, if they hated the Hulk, why would he get to be why would he be the hero who brought everyone back?
Yeah,
he's the one who did the initial snap to bring
everyone back.
The good guys back. Mm-hmm. Okay, you don't give that to a character that
you hate,
by accident or that you don't like.
No.
Okay.
Maybe
enough said about that, Logan. You're wrong.
Maybe it was his time on the Gamma Lab getting to perfect that kept him alive after the snap. Maybe it was his brain and his brawn working together that kept him alive. So, sorry, Logan. I love you, but
thank you.
I agree with Josh here.
All right, next. I'm so sorry I'm about to butcher
It's
your
Kiera.
name. Kiera.
Yes, Kiera Witten.
Asks, did they snap Thanos out of existence or just back before they took the stones? I think they snapped him out of existence.
I would agree. I think he's completely gone.
This is the end of the Thanos story. He was our first huge mega villain, and that story has been told completely and beautifully at this point.
Yeah.
It's done. Done-ski.
And
if not, Tony kind of died for nothing.
Yeah,
so
I think they wouldn't take that away from Tony.
Can't take it away from him. His story was perfect as is.
Yeah.
Last question we're going to get to today.
This is from Brian Lowe, buddy of mine in Pigeon Forge.
Big supporter of the show.
Yeah, big supporter.
Could Loki's disappearance with the Tesseract the first time the team went for it at the end of the Battle of New York, causing access to the multiverse? Could it cause access to the multiverse that is referenced in the new Spider-Man Far From Home trailer?
Ooh.
I don't know. Could be.
Kind of like what... It's almost kind of like what the...
What did Loki do, when he left?
Because you've got to think that Loki that vanished, that didn't get to be taken back to Asgard, that Loki is not imprisoned during the Dark Elf raid. He's not the Loki that becomes a hero in Ragnarok. Mm-hmm. He's Loki escapes with the Tesseract, with the Blue Stone.
Yeah.
So, we could see that in his show.
He's like the uber trickster.
He is
Loki,
the trickster.
More than normal.
Yeah. I mean, now he's in his prime Loki.
Right.
And he's getting his own show.
Who, even though he lost the Battle of New York, still managed to get away.
Exactly.
Whereas the other one didn't.
The other one didn't.
It changed him.
And that helped him become a hero. So this Loki we could see in his show maybe wreaking terror through time. I don't know. That'd be kind of cool.
But as far as it relates to Spider-Man, apparently there's something in the trailer.
Mysterio, yeah. In the trailer, Nick Fury says this is... and he introduces him to Peter, and he says he's from Earth, but not our Earth. There's a whole world of multiverses out there.
As a result, I guess, of the events of
yes,
Endgame.
And he said Thanos' snap tore a hole in the multiverse, and that's why he's here. And so that opens the MCU up to...
I have a terrible confession to make.
Okay.
I've only watched the Far From Home trailer once.
The original trailer or the newest one that just dropped, where he's talking with Happy and all that?
I've only seen one.
Oh.
Yeah.
You should.
Well, I was trying to save it.
How are you the Spider-Man guy?
I know. I was trying to save it. I was going to do like a live reaction type deal on it. But
we could do that.
I had peer pressure. So I watched it, and it's a good thing that I didn't save it for a live thing, because my reaction was nah. I didn't. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but I think because we're fried from Endgame.
Yeah.
It's going to take us a little while to emotionally get back to that.
We need a little bit before we have some big shocks.
Absolutely.
I think.
And I think this will be a good.
Let us breathe for a
calming movie to kind of integrate us into that phase. So, thank you for all those questions. Thank you, and keep them coming. And if you have a suggestion, throw it out. We're already planning the suggestions that were given to us last time.
Next time 30 and Nerdy.
On 30 and Nerdy.
We're going to be talking about streaming wars.
Yes.
That's right. Stream
wars.
And that's referring to things like Netflix and Hulu and the upcoming Disney Plus and
DC
HBO
Universe,
Go and
HBO
all
Go,
that stuff. Yeah.
NBC.
We're going to have a little discussion about that, and we hope that you will join us for that and send us some questions, by all means. Questions you might have about any of the news that's come out recently about streaming services. There's been some things. You should check it out.
Oh, gosh, I need to be in the know.
I think that's it. So, until next time, I'm Josh.
And I'm Tyler.
And we will catch you later, nerds.